Okay, I'm Diana. I'm a compulsive eater, a grateful recovering compulsive eater. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day off the gray sheet, commit them to my very loving sponsor, and do not eat anything in between, no matter what. Abstinence and my relationship with my God are the most important things. So lovely being in such familiar, I can see some very familiar people here. Isn't it wonderful that you can go away and come back or hop on a meeting, different meeting, and feel like a family? Thank you so much for asking me to share. I haven't shared for a long time, and I live in South Africa, and I got to my third 90 days about 2 weeks ago. So this is my qualification. Thank you. And I looked at my notes that I made the first time I did a qualification. I didn't look too hard at them, but I did have a look. And I started to think back about what's changed, you know, since writing that first one and presenting that first one. And I reflected on it, which is something that was absolutely foreign to me for a very, very long time. Certainly not even first time round in Grey Sheet did I even think about reflecting. So first of all, that has changed tremendously, is that I'm actually able to stand back and have a look at things in a way that I was never able to do before. And I said in my first speech a long time ago, I said, I am very different to all these other Grey Sheeters. My story is different. There are certain things that I do that I can't relate to certain things. First of all, I have always eaten 3 meals a day. Second of all, I am very socially skilled. I am integrated. I have friends. I go out. I like to dress up. I like to look good. I do not binge. I do not hide my food away. I'm not lonely. I said, I'm not like this. These stories are just not my stories. And it took me a very long time to realize we are all the same. No matter what brought us to Grey Sheet, it doesn't matter. Our stories and our needs for Grey Sheets are all the same. I felt unloved. I felt unworthy. I felt like a burden. I was not affirmed as a person. My opinion was not counted. I didn't feel there was not enough. There wasn't enough love. There wasn't enough food. There wasn't enough attention. There wasn't enough security. Aren't we all feeling something like that? I used food as a security to push down emotions. I used food to build a barrier around myself of protection. I was traumatized. I was physically and emotionally abused. I felt such loss. I experienced such loss at so many levels at such a young age. And I used food as a big deal. I made a lot about food. Food was not in the right place. It wasn't in the right perspective for me. I talked about food. I lived from meal to meal. obsessed and fantasized about food. It wasn't just feeding me. It was there for all sorts of other reasons other than nutrition. I remember as a child living in a family of an older mother and a very old grandfather, and they didn't like food very much, and they didn't eat very much, and there wasn't enough to eat. When they finished eating and they were satisfied, I wanted more. And I would go to the fridge and I would eat something and it would be noticed and a big deal would be made out of it. You had that egg that you should be having for breakfast. It was just not enough food. And I love food, and I had a very physical reaction towards food. I still do. I love beautiful tasting food. I love colors. I love textures. So I was profoundly moved by food. I loved to cook. I loved to eat. I loved to plan occasions around eating. I am an only child, and I was overweight at primary school. And I had a very red face, and I wasn't as physical as a lot of my peers were. And I felt awkward. I had friends. I could connect with people, but I felt different. I definitely did feel different, and I remember being teased. And I had a very beautiful mother, an incredibly narcissistic, but very physically beautiful mother. And I was this quite awkward, round, red-faced child who she dressed like even worse. What did they say? You can see your mommy dressed you. Well, I suppose all mommies dress you, but oh my gosh, when I look at those pictures, I mean, the most, I don't know if she just didn't want me to be in the limelight or something, but oh my gosh, I was taken to the first dietitian when I was probably 11. So I was on restrictive programs and weighing and looking and comparing and having to do without right from the get-go. I remember my school lunches were always very different to everyone else's. I had a Tab cool drink. In fact, my nickname at high school was Tab. I mean, no one else had Tab. I had Tab. And I rebelled. I really, really rebelled. At high school, I was a leader, but I was an unrecognized leader. So I went undercover, and I was the worst leader you could ever have. I had a subgroup of note. I was a dangerous human being. I was destructive. I was manipulative. I was larger than life. I had a following of bad people. I was the one that the parents warned about. Do not hang around with this girl. She's bright. She's got lots of things going for her, but she is very, very, very out of control and dangerous. Even the boys were scared of me. And I acted out. I was promiscuous. I took drugs. I stole things. I was a real delinquent. I wrote my last exams in the police station. Okay, so I was a real delinquent. But I got away with it. I also had a wonderful relationship with my grandfather. I lost my father when I was 2.5, and my grandfather and I were best friends. And as soon as I became a teenager and I had a mind of my own, he just completely abandoned me. That was probably one of my first losses. I lost my stepfather. I lost my mother lost her mind. Oh my goodness. I can't tell you how many losses I had. And I felt unwanted. Thank you so much. I had a lot of abusive relationships, and finally, when I was 19, I met my beautiful husband, who is very much like my stepfather,
10
who I
minutes
lost when I was
down,
18.
5 to
Thank
go.
you. Fantastic. And he is, I mean, we've been married 40 years this year. He's just my lifesaver, and I just love him to bits and pieces. But he's an addict too. And he and I were linked by pain, the same kind of emotional pain. And we've got through it. And coincidentally, his mother had a catering company. So I always say, I married the fridge because his fridge was a fridge like you have never seen in your life. Okay, you opened it and there was food in there that was the stuff of my dreams. And we used to sit and smoke marijuana and eat and eat and eat and eat. And it was so lovely. It was so lovely. So we've been married a whole bunch of time, and we've had 2 children. We've been through up and down his addictions, financial insecurity, building businesses, losing businesses, power play, disrespect. I've always been the breadwinner, always needed to make a plan. And food provided the energy for me to just get in the extra time, that other hour, working later, working harder. Okay, I want to go to sleep. I'm going to just have something so that I can force myself. And I'm hyperactive. So this food syndrome was just giving me, I would never allow myself to rest. Ever. Even now, I struggle with that. So I got up to 100, I've lost and gained. I got up to 120 kilograms. And I had seen a person here in GreySheet who is a great friend of mine. And I'd seen what she did. And I knew that this was going to be my solution. And I called her and I said, you know what, I need to do this. I am desperate. I have got a granddaughter now, and I cannot even get up and play on the floor. I feel like a whale. My knees are hurting. Everything is just, I can't do this. I want to be able to run and play and swim and be a granny, a present granny. And my friend said, do this. And I did it. And my reflux disappeared. My brain cleared. I stopped snoring. My husband couldn't believe me. I am calmer. I accept compliments. I laugh more. I'm far more reasonable, and I'm not so aggressive, because that food adrenalized me. It made me in survival mode the whole time. And I'm learning now to be kinder and gentler and more authentic. And I'm learning how to reparent myself or parent myself. And I'm definitely quieter. That might just be because I'm getting older, but hell, I really enjoy my own company. And I know that I'm more present for myself and I'm more present for other people. And I may not have that need anymore for so much energy and so many people and bouncing all over the place. I'm more centered, I'm more in control, but I'm more present. So I know that I'm a better parent, and I know that I'm a better wife. I know that, and I've seen the results.
1 left.
Thank you. I'm nearly there. And I'm doing my step work. I think before I react. And I really am having a life beyond my wildest dreams. I've never been so content and so grateful in all my life. And for that, I must thank God. I must thank GreySheet. I must thank Step Work. I must thank sponsors. I must thank groups like you, friends, outreach. sponsees, they all just make the most amazing solution to something that I couldn't find a solution for. It's an absolute miracle. Thank you.